Hi guys, welcome back to The Mix. We know it's prom season and we wanted to sit down and have a talk with you guys about some of the issues that may arise with prom. A lot of us had various prom experiences and we kind of wanted to share them with you and give you guys our insight on what to do in those situations.
Okay.
My prom was decades ago. Well,
don't let them believe that.
Kind of. I'm kidding. My prom was in 06.
Oh,
Wow. That feels like forever ago. But I went with somebody that I actually didn't know. The guy that I wanted to go with couldn't go to prom, so I had to find another date because I wasn't going to have a prom picture by myself. Especially when my dress was so amazing. So a friend of mine had a friend that wanted to go, so she's like, do you want to go with him? And I was just like, sure. So I literally went to his house to pick up his check for his ticket, and then I never saw him again until prom. I took a picture with him, and actually no, I hung out with him once before prom so that it wouldn't be awkward because my mom suggested it, but it was just awkward then because he kissed me and I didn't want to be kissed. And then
did he try to kiss you again at prom?
No, because
Okay.
when we went to prom, we took the picture together and then like we went our separate ways. At prom, I didn't hang out with him. Like we rode to prom together, and then on the bus we sat together. But after that, I don't even know how he got home. I don't know what he did after prom. I don't know. Like, he had to text me, like, hey, can I have my pictures? And I was like, oh, I already mailed them. That's how that was.
Nice.
So when I went to prom, I didn't go to my school. I had a boyfriend at the time who was no longer in high school, and I graduated early. So I went with a friend who asked me to go with him, and for me it was kind of awkward just because it wasn't my school. I had to last minute find a dress, and we didn't hang out when we were there, and my boyfriend at the time was pissed.
Why is he like
My boyfriend at the time ended up being like really mad that I was going after he saw like my dress. So I was there, and I just remember my feet hurting really bad, and I kind of felt like I got ditched. So I didn't really know anybody, and I had no one to talk to. So I didn't have like the greatest time. I actually went home on the early bus, which is probably really embarrassing, but whatever. It was at Universal Studios, so I do remember that, and they had like pictures where they draw you and stuff, and I really wanted to do that, but like I said, that person wasn't my boyfriend, and I don't know, I didn't hang out with them the whole time. So that was pretty much my prom experience, and I wish I would have been able to go to my schools if I didn't graduate early. So that was just, it wasn't something that I look back on and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had the best time. So yeah, that was me.
Yeah. For my prom experience, I actually had a really great prom, but prior to that, I actually had 2 different dates, which made it kind of awkward to sit down and try to talk to one of them, because of course, like when you're 16, you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I really had to sit down and talk to myself and kind of figure out who I wanted to date or who I wanted to go to prom with, and whose relationship I wanted to progress and whose I wanted to kind of turn down. So I ended up going with someone who later became my boyfriend, and I kind of just got the nerve to talk to the first guy and kind of let him know, you know, this isn't really working out for me. And I knew that he would take it kind of well, and he did, and he ended up going with a different girl as well anyway.
So for my prom experience, it was an epic fail, pretty much, because a friend of mine from a different school wanted me to go to prom with him for his school.
We were supposed to be together.
Yeah, me and Vanessa were actually supposed to be dates because her date was friends with the guy that was supposed to be my date, and we were friends, so we were all going to go, the 4 of us. But actually, he was only asking me because a girl that he asked from my school that I did not get along with all through high school was supposed to be his actual date. But for whatever reason, she said no or she couldn't go, so he asked me if I could go. So I said, yeah, that's fine, I'll go to prom with you. And then I find out via talk of mouth at school that he's actually going with the girl he originally asked that I didn't like, and I was like, really? So he texted, yeah,
so rude. And I know that bitch was enjoying it, like,
oh yeah, she definitely was. She was very, I'm sure she was thrilled. But so I talked over text messages, like, really, that's like how you're gonna pull. He's like, I'm so sorry, like I wish I would have gone with you and this and that. Like, yeah, whatever.
You know what, I think he did regret it. Like, I remember them being at prom, and I don't think she got ditched too, you know? So, honestly, like, I just know my experience wasn't that great. I don't know how many people she knew, so I feel like it bit him in the ass.
I mean, we probably would have been fine if I actually did go, because me and Vanessa would have hung out, even if we weren't hanging out with other people, would have been us two together. But, I mean, I got to go to my own prom, and I had somebody ask me for our school to go with them, and it was fun. I had a good time, and it was just friendly. But, so, that was my lovely prom experience.
For my prom, I ended up finding a last minute date, like super last minute, like 2 weeks before prom. And then literally a week before, he ended up saying that he couldn't make it because his mom was going into surgery or something. It just sounded like sketch, so I was like, okay, that's alright. So I ended up going with my girlfriends. And I remember I, at first, was just kind of very, like, insecure about that. I was just like, oh god, everyone is going with a date. And when I actually ended up going to prom, I was just so uncomfortable. I wanted to go home because I was like, I cannot believe I am that loser with a girlfriend, with no date. But then I kept looking around after a while, and I was just like, everyone is so awkward because, like, random number one, random number two were coupled up together, and they were just, like, sitting just like this, like, okay, I'm ready to go home. So I was like, okay, alright, well, everyone's uncomfortable. I'm going to go dance with my girls. And I actually had a good time towards the end, so my prom was actually pretty fun.
I think nowadays prom isn't as traditional as it used to be. You don't need to have a person to go to prom with. I know a lot of girls that just went as girlfriends and guys that just went stag, and they just, and even if you do go with a date, a lot of people don't stick with their date through the whole night unless that's your boyfriend or your girlfriend or something like that, and you kind of dance around. Exactly.
Honestly, if you're gonna go with a date, you better make sure you guys are gonna have a good time together. If it's a random, like, coupling and it's awkward, you're not gonna have a good time.
Should be understanding.
Prom food, though, is on point. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yes. Like, prom is a good time. I do recommend going to prom. I know a lot of times when you're in high school, you're kind of just like, it's not that big a deal. But I know so many people who didn't end up going to prom and later on they regretted it. So if you're considering it, if it's in your mind, go.
At least go.
Even if it's not your prom, if it's someone else's prom, just go to prom, have fun, dance. Like,
at least go to one of them, because I think they have two for junior and senior. So at least go to one of them.
Both proms I went to were not my proms. I went with a girl the first time, actually, and I got dress code. And I had to wear a teacher's dress. She came and brought me a dress from her house, and I changed in a classroom. I had no bra, no underwear on, no nothing, because I couldn't with my dress. And
that should have said something right there.
Awkward. Actually, though, the dress wasn't inappropriate because the principal was going to let me go, but there was another yard duty teacher person, and she was like, nope, nope. And then he was like, it's fine if she just wears a jacket. And she's like, nope.
Boy principal? Yep. That's what it was.
So I had to change. Luckily, that dress worked out really well. So
okay, so that's it. Those are our prom tips, and that's what we
experienced through our time in high school. So fun.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
That's great.
All right.
Are you gonna go, Vanessa?
Go.
Oh, okay.
Just
I thought you were research. And I was in prom how many years ago? 5.
Doesn't matter.
I know.
Outro.